What's going on, good brothers and sisters out there? Or should I say kings and queens? It is the Bad Wolf, and I'm going to take you guys on a journey. This particular journey is going to be in the world of the Department of State FOIA liaison request and information. We'll call this particular person PB. So this video is dedicated to PB because they got a letter back from the Department of State out of the Washington District of Columbia office, and we're going to talk about what they got back in their FOIA request. As always, guys, be sure to hit that bell, like, and subscribe. Welcome to the tribe. The truth will not be denied. Your favorite host for education and entertainment purposes only, the Wolfster, otherwise known by the ladies as Wolfie. All right, let's get into it. As you can tell, I'm not too long having gotten up. And so, yeah, I'm a little chill. Not that chill, because then I would be laying on the floor behind me, like, just let the video run. I don't even care. Always, guys, remember to have a little bit of fun. Enjoy yourselves. Don't fall for the show. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. All right. So I'm going to bring up the letter, and let's see if I can find it here. Where's that mailbox? Oh, did you guys hear that? I heard rumors that they were making a He-Man movie, but I'm seeing trailers now. I'm kind of excited. Hopefully they don't mess it up. But He-Man is a hard video movie to make. It really it's but we'll see. We will see. Okay, where's my January? Okay, I'm gonna have to go and find it individually. I've got another one over here I could just read, but then I got to keep doing this, and I don't want to have to do that. So, I mean, I may have to if this computer is not going to act right today. Okay, let's see here. 19th. Ah, there it is. Okay. So, all right. So, PB, we will just say on 11/5 of 2024. So, basically 2 years ago. And this is what he got back. This is what they said in the letter. It says, this letter is in response to your letter dated July 19th, 2024, concerning your submission of citizenship evidence. All right. Please be advised that per the Bureau of Consular Affairs, there is no way to add documents to a passport record of a U.S. citizen that has already been issued a passport. So right here, and of course, if I didn't tell you what this video is about, it's one about doing a FOIA request on your citizenship and how it's changed from the original videos and letters they would send to what we have now. We're going to dissect everything in here to show you what's wrong with the response, what the department is assuming, because you didn't ask the correct question. So let's get back into it. So one, it took them forever to get this letter back to PB. That's number one. But they're busy and they're the GOV and they move as slow as they want. It says, please be advised that the Bureau of Consular Affairs, there's no way to add documents. So you're telling me that for some reason the Department of State is connected to the Bureau of Consular Affairs. Okay, that's good to know. So we now know that. We also know, which I've told you guys in the videos, that unless you're doing a brand new DS11, they can't add anything to your existing record. Unless you're doing a brand new DS11 application, once it's already been established, they don't and can't add anything. This is one of the reasons why the explanatory statement is paramount, what you put in there and getting it in there when you're doing a brand new DS11. Now, I may have said or downplayed, oh, you don't really need the explanatory statement, and I'm not saying you need it, but we now are hearing that the only time you can add things, your own statements of who and what you are at the time of the new DS11. And that apparently the Bureau of Consular Affairs has access to that. So in the bureau, they can see our information. So keep that in mind. Explanatory statement has more power and weight than we realize. That's what I'm already reading right here. It then goes on to say there's no way to add documents to the passport record of a U.S. citizen that has already been issued a passport. So now the next problem here is that they're saying he's a U.S. citizen. Now, I didn't see his original letter, so I'm going to chalk it up that he watches enough of my videos, he put in everything right, but I don't know. I can't say that 100% sure. Don't even know if he used an explanatory statement, but this is just a generalization. My thought would be is that he wasn't clear enough, probably didn't use one, but I digress. They're accusing him of being a U.S. citizen versus a state citizen or national already in this letter. And then it says that has already been issued a passport. So once again, when that DS11, when you do a brand new one, your record is open. The Bureau of Consular Affairs apparently can see that. But depending on how you do your passport and what you upload or give them at that point in time, that's what they'll have to go off of. Without it, it then becomes, it is what it is. It's locked. And until you update it by doing a brand new one, that is it. Okay, so that's just that section. Let's go on to the next part. It says Section 308 of the INA confers U.S. nationality. So now we're jumping into nationality. They didn't say that anywhere before, so now we're jumping into that. But not U.S. citizenship. On persons born in outlying possessions of the United States or born to a person or parent who are non-citizen nationals who meet certain physical presence or residence requirements. The term outlying possession of the United States is defined in Section 101A 29 of INA as Samoa and Swain Islands. No other statute defines any other territories or any other states as outlying possessions. Okay. So Section 308 INA confers U.S. nationality. Okay. That's because that is a code written that is conferring a separate type of nationality. I already did a video that there are two types of nationals. They're not conferring it on us. We already have it. So depending on what he gave them and asked them for, and this will make more sense as we get down towards the bottom, they are assuming he's trying to say, do you have any proof that I am a Samoan or from Swain Islands? While dejecting from the fact that he already has, because you're not asking to be conferred. This is to confer. This is to give and bestow upon somebody. We're not asking that. We already are nationals per the GPO Style Manual, Section 5.23, Federal Law, 8 U.S.C. 1101, A, 22B, 8 U.S.C. 1401, A. We already have it. So you're not conferring anything on us. We're not asking for the conference. So this is either because they're stupid or his request wasn't clear enough or it didn't make it to the legal department for a legal determination. Now, when somebody gets a letter like this, they're generally going to back down and say, oh, well, there is nothing to any of that national stuff already. But we've already shown and proven that there is, and it is real. But when dealing with these people, they have a little ability where they can kind of pseudo pretend they're like the legal department, but really they're only administrative. Those are not the same thing. He was trying to ask a legal question, but it only made it to the administrative department, and we'll cover that as we go down further. It then goes on to say, in addition to Section 308 of the INA, Section 302 of Public Law 94-241 provides for certain inhabitants of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, who become U.S. citizens by virtue of Article 3 of the Covenant, to opt for non-citizen national status. See requirements of Section 302. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. You can do that. But let's back up to the third paragraph I read before this one. Now, they're trying to cover their tracks by saying no other statutes define any other territories or any other, and then it has here lowercase state, as an outlying possession. Well, sorry, but California state is a part, and Californians are a part of the American family. There, it is recognized as a republic. It is not controlled or owned by the government. It is administrated. It is private. It exists. It is recognized. But it is the sovereign and over the Department of State and over all the rest of these things. It is the superior power of the private, of the organic. So I don't know how he wrote his letter and asking what he was asking, but he already has what he's looking for. They do not want to issue, and maybe it could be because he didn't write the letter correctly and ask the right things to the right places, but they don't want to have anything where they're conferring or talking about nationality. We already have it. We know it. They don't want to admit it. They don't want any document from them to recognize officially with any type of stamp, seal, and whatever else the national standing. They do not. I don't know if it like if it's like angel powder and like it burns their demon souls or what it is. Even the certificate of nationality in the Department of State in the law says we have a right to request that, and we have been. Not one person has gotten it to date. Then, if you read deeper, it says the only way they'll issue one is if a foreign authority requests one. So it's a real thing. And then they're not sending it to you, they'll send it to the foreign authority for them to use it in a case or court matter to prove who you are. So a foreign country or court can request the certificate of nationality, where it's stating straight out that you are a national of the United States under the codes I mentioned before. GPO Style Manual Section 5.23. A Floridian is of the Florida State Republic. This is a recognized thing by the Department of State. It's in their GPO Style Manual. It's in federal law. It's in the America's Jurisprudence, Aliens and Citizen books. I have them right here. But for some reason, unless we don't know the correct place or department to request one, they don't want to issue one. You can create your own. Matter of fact, maybe I will create my own version of it. However, when using it, they're going to say, well, this was issued by a private authority. It must come from uh, the Department of State or blah blah blah. So how is it we have this right and this freedom, but they don't want to issue it, which is derelict of duty and fraud on behalf of said departments. From their perspective, they're like, well, look, we know who you are ultimately, but you didn't tell us who you were. So if you don't mention who you are directly, we're going to refer you to the lowest common denominator, which is probably that you're a U.S. citizen, which is what they did in the beginning of this letter. And they're like, well, if you're dealing with the states, the state ofs and the corporate public side, then you must be a U.S. citizen. I mean, as a national, if you're doing just private business amongst yourselves, you don't really need that. There's no law that says we have to do that, though there are statutes that say that if you request it, we are to do that, but it's kind of at our leisure. No, it's not at your leisure. If there's anything that says you're supposed to do it by we the people and we ask you for it, you are to do it. That is denial of rights and privileges, dear Department of State, Secretary of State, and anybody else who's supposed to issue or do something. Under 8 U.S.C. 1503, denial of rights and privileges as a national. Why is that code of law there? Educationally said. I'm asking information. I'm asking questions here. So let's go on to the next. If you believe, okay, one more thing here. So in that same third paragraph, it goes on to say, or born of a parent or parents who are non-citizen nationals who meet certain physical presence or resident requirements. So that sentence alone is their way of saying, or a parent or parents who were non-citizen nationals. Your parents were non-citizen nationals. This is their legal loophole for the state citizen and nationals of the United States under 8 U.S.C. 1401. Because your parents were born in the private first. It is their birthright. They had that first. Then legally they obtained U.S. citizenship, which is not the exact same. They're foreign to each other. How do we know that? 8 FAM 301.1-1, letter B. Citizenship and nationality are not the same thing. But all U.S. citizens are also U.S. nationals. But not all U.S. nationals are U.S. citizens. So there, we just caught them in a lie. Under 8 U.S.C. 1101A, 22A and B. It states all U.S. citizens are also U.S. nationals. All means all. So if you're a U.S. citizen, you're calling him a U.S. citizen, then that means he's also a U.S. national, but they're not regarding it. But I can't be on his side or their side completely because I don't know I didn't read his letter. Had it been a letter I would have written, it would have been clear, and I also would have instructed them to talk to the legal department for legal determination. But let's keep going. If you believe that as an American Samoa, comma, Northern Mariana Island or Swain Island resident, that's talking about the public U.S. corporate side, not at all what he probably asked for, that you are eligible under the law as a non-citizen national. Well, technically, this term should be U.S. non-citizen national. Okay. He's referring to the fact that he's a non-citizen U.S. national. But here this lady combined the term. She says non-citizen national of the United States. Which remember, those people can be that if they apply for the passport, get it granted, then they're non-citizen U.S. nationals. And the law also refers, so she's combining a term that we haven't seen this complete phrase, non-citizen national of the United States. That's a phrase that doesn't exist. So that is obfuscation or hiding. That term is not recognized. Not word for word, it is not recognized. Either U.S. non-citizen national or non-citizen U.S. national or national of the United States under federal law, but not the combination thereof. Unless something has changed within the last month that I don't know about, that term has no legal standing. It is void. That is a fraudulent term. I know what they're implying, but once again, and I'm going to get down to the bottom and I'm going to blow this all up even more. And you comply with the provisions of Section 341B of the INA, comma, 8 U.S.C. 1452B. That's not what he was asking for. He's under 8 U.S.C. 1401A. This is obfuscation. You're denying him of his rights and privileges. That's a federal lawsuit all day. Had I gotten this letter, I would be filing a lawsuit against that department. I would give them one more chance of right to cure, and then I would file a lawsuit. It then goes on to say you may apply for a passport at any passport agency in the United States. When applying, applicants must execute a Form DS-11 and show documentary proof of their non-citizen national status. So now we're just calling it a non-citizen national status. This is why the explanatory statement, along with the 09 code, should be used, as well as their identity. For additional information, please visit the Bureau of Consular Affairs. So the Bureau of Consular Affairs, that would also be a good place to send your explanatory statement. Get it notarized. While sending it there, then ask, educationally speaking, for a certificate of non-citizen nationality. That's what I would do. Sincerely, Kelly Robinson, Chief Requester Liaison Division. FOIA Program, FOIA Public Liaison, U.S. Department of State, Office of Information Programs and Services. Now, here's my problem with the end of the letter here. Okay, hold on, let me see here. All right, well, I can't figure out how to make it. I don't want to show the other person's information on here. But anyway, what I read is valid. Okay. Here's my problem with the bottom of this letter. One, it just has her initials. If it doesn't have somebody's first, middle, and last name as a signature, it's not valid. It's an administrative saying, an administrator basically saying, here's basically what I found. Here's my problem also with it. There's no seal on it anywhere. So once again, not official. She doesn't have any titles behind her name other than chief requester. That sounds good. So she just makes requests. She's not the legal department. Nowhere in here did she show any legal reference to any legal manual, any legal department. It's not signed off on by the legal department. If somebody returns a letter to you quoting that this is what it is, blah, 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 they use some of the codes and whatever else. It's not official and it's not legal. And it's not officially legal. Because you can have something that's official. What she did was almost official, but she didn't write her name on there. It's not valid. She has her name typed and then typed initials. That doesn't make it official and valid. It's a mere request. It's a mere response from an administrative liaison. She doesn't quote that this is from, or there's not an additional letter from the legal department backing her claim up. There's no seals on here, and there's no stamp from written signature from the legal department as a legal response. Now, they could say, well, PB here didn't ask for all that. He didn't tell us to send it to the legal department. He didn't say he was a national. He wanted, any. Now, I would have also said, do you have any proof, of me being a U.S. citizen? Because if they say, no, we have no proof that you're a U.S. citizen, then by default, the only thing that you can be in this particular event would be a national. So you're asking for a no over here because then you're getting an unwritten yes. These people are very crafty. And some of them, the information is compartmentalized. She could totally be speaking, and of course, this is, education entertainment. She could be speaking from a position. I'm not saying that she's a master wizard legal smith. She could totally be speaking from a point of plausible deniability that she literally doesn't know exactly what you're looking for, and she did her best. So we must say that. In all fairness, and I don't know how he wrote his letter word for word. But obviously this didn't hit the mark because we know that what she said is bullshit. It's either bullshit because she didn't know and she did her best, or because she lied, or you didn't ask the right questions and tell her to get it to the right department. But how can somebody who just wants to know anything and all things, who doesn't know what specifically to ask for, because then once again they consider you to be incompetent and they always go with the lowest bottom common denominator. If you are not of above knowledge or above intelligence to know what to ask for to be able to corner them, they're going to give you one of these shit responses. Now, when we first started doing this, we caught them with their pants down, Diddy style, and they were saying, no, we have no evidence of you being a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. They were saying it. And some people still out there have the letters to prove that. Now, because they probably, like many of my videos, had their departments look at that, they were like, well, let's answer these a little bit more carefully. But why? Why Department of State? Why not just issue the letters? We, the people, are asking for them. It's almost like you're working for not us, the people, but you're working for the state, the lower states, the inferior states, the ones that you guys govern, the ones that don't have complete sovereignty. You guys do control them, right? So if what are you afraid of the states? Because that's what it seems like, legally, professionally, educationally speaking. This is just my interpretation of it. I could be way off, could be completely wrong. I'm just saying, based on what I see, this is what I see. We've asked for the letters, they don't want to issue them. We know that we can issue our own, but we also know that how the game is played. If I were to do that and then take it to a court and try to use it there for those purposes, a regular court here within the inferior Nisi Prius corporate maritime admiralty jurisdictional courts, they're going to say, well, we don't recognize those private documents. And they know that. They all know that. They'll say, well, this has no legal standing. Yeah, because it's lawful and it's superior. They do not want the public and the private to mix. And that, for the most part, is correct. And all we're trying to say is that our government, which is supposed to operate lawfully, we want a certificate of nationality. We want a FOIA request to reveal what we already know. We want it official so then we can use it appropriately. But see, if I had to go off script here, And let's say I worked for the government. Well, it would be run a whole lot more efficient, and there would be a whole lot of changes, and we'd be out of debt, and we'd be loved by the world instead of feared, but there would be a healthy amount of fear in there too. I wouldn't want to issue that letter because then the people may start to wake up and understand that they are in fact our bosses. So we essentially have a trustee in place, federal government, that doesn't want us to realize that we are the beneficiaries. We are their boss. We are also the grantors. We can change things. We can add to the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights. We could get rid of any agency, anything that is against our rights and freedoms. That we could work together to not necessarily get rid of a legitimate corporation or system through force, but through the lack of its utilization. Withholding our money and our problems and scenarios and events and activities to then not cause controversy, to not need their services. If we were to do that, they would have a problem. It wouldn't just be a correction, it would be a collapse. But they're not worried about it because there's too many people who can't self-govern, who aren't trying to listen, who aren't going to do anything even after me sharing this informational, entertainment, educational materials. So they're not worried about it. They're going to watch this video like they do the rest of mine, and they're going to say, well done, Mr. Lovett. But it's not going to do a damn thing. Maybe you'll have 20 or 30 people think about it, keep it. But in itself, I'm just a guy down the block. I'm not a big agent or government person or military or celebrity or anything like that. And I don't expect you to, and I'm not asking you to. It's your choice. You can pick it up or put it down if you want. That's up to you. I'm just here to do my part, showing you the direction. That's it. I'm not here to topple a system, not here to do any of that stuff. Any of that stuff is not going to happen in my lifetime. But you can't say that you weren't told. Now, moving forward, I've just given you guys the pieces that you need to be more successful at what you're trying to do. Or keep doing what you're doing, which is the definition of insanity, and expecting different results. That's it. I'm glad you guys were entertained. And once again, this is a video on a FOIA request about one's citizenship and it being denied. Citizenship evidence. If you notice throughout the whole thing, they didn't really answer any part of it. They didn't say he wasn't a citizen. And they said if you think you're a national, this type of national, which we know is a subnational, show evidence. That's a great way of giving you, what do they call it? A reach around? You gotta love the bureaucracy and the 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 slither of the Hydra. Hail Hydra.